This is the Research Collective's demonstration for the Hack for Freedom. Esteemed judges, adoring fans, the future of science is open. The Research Collective is a community at the intersection of crypto and do-it-yourself biology. We believe that scientific progress has been kneecapped by antiquated incentives, and it is only through the application of distributed ledgers that it may be freed. There is a chasm preventing viable treatments from actually reaching people. Whether it be through infighting or overregulation, profits and risk aversion today reign supreme over both healing and truth. The Research Collective is building a bridge over that chasm. More specifically, a platform that enables communities to organize and come together to build consensus on potentially controversial, if not censorious topics, such as gene therapies, using DAOs and verified credentials. For Metacartel's Dragon Quest, the Research Collective built a curation system using Aragon. The idea was to allow both named and pseudonymous entities to curate content related to COVID-19. Following that hackathon's conclusion, my co-founder Ian and I spent a month interviewing people in the scientific and biomedical communities. We confirmed that science is dysfunctional and determined that we should next work on a decentralized IRB, an institutional review board. One of the people that we interviewed had just received IRB approval for their citizen science COVID vaccine trial, after nearly 3 months of full-time work and around $3,000 spent. IRB approval is one of the first hurdles preventing new treatments from ever actually reaching people. Besides lower costs and shorter times for citizen scientists, a decentralized IRB allows academics to experiment pseudonymously, to push the boundaries of science without fear of upsetting their peers or tenure board. For this hackathon, the Research Collective built a plugin to the popular forum software Discourse. This plugin allows people to propose experiments as a thread, and for other users to then initiate that thread being turned into a vote on Aragon. And then other token holders are able to vote directly on that proposal from the thread. Proposals that are approved end up being displayed on the Research Collective's website. Additionally, this plugin allows people to request to become a moderator from a thread that initiates a token request that other members can then vote on. Ian will now walk us through that functionality.
Connect node. So this is what you run alongside your Discourse server. This is where all of your Discourse requests get sent and then forwarded to Aragon. It also can sign credentials in case you pass votes that require verified credentials. And then the plugin is Discourse Aragon. So that's where you have the node backend communicating with this Discourse plugin. You need MetaMask and an Aragon DAO. And you could be like, oh yeah, here's our Discourse Aragon plugin. And you can enable it for all users, or you can add it to certain groups. Request to be administrator. Administrator.
So that saves that data in the vote, right?
Yeah, this allows you to add the buttons that you see up here, and yeah, access MetaMask. Alrighty. Here's my topic. Vote no or yes. And propose this as a request. I'm going to go over here. There we go. Here's our new guy. We can go over the voting and then show that that's going to pop up, and then we can vote on it. Now we wait. Yes. So now we're going to go. So that's done with that part. We'll go to experiments, votes. What are you going to do? The HIV experiment?
Yeah, still plasmid.
I don't know. Review. I don't know. Try out injecting HIV plasmid. Whatever. Doesn't need to download. Here's this guy. It includes like the first post content and then the timestamp and the poster. And then you can go vote no.
And then lastly, we'll show what happens after the vote has passed. It should show up on one of these two tables: the experiment title, a description, the person who posted it, and a link back to the thread. These are the people who are responsible for moderating the proposals. And here we have a mix of both a pseudonym, a named person, and an anonymous person. And the idea is that hopefully having a mix of these identity statuses will allow people to be able to more freely speak their minds, while at the same time having some amount of accountability as well. Lastly, we've made some progress towards integrating Fortmatic/Magic with 3box as well as MetaMask.
Taken together, we believe these technologies allow DAOs to grow meaningful communities that can reach consensus on contentious topics, all while being resistant to hostile takeover by unsavory administrators. This concludes the demo, but if you have a few minutes, I'd like to dive into our next steps, the bigger problems we're trying to solve, and a little backstory about why I'm here before you. Way back in 2016, I was involved with a group of crypto anarchists called BitNation. Through them, I was introduced to the biohacking community, and through that, I ended up testing out an experimental gene therapy for HIV that, truth be told, someone had developed in their shed. The first one didn't seem to work, but through it all, I helped set up a lab that actually did create a viable gene therapy for lactose intolerance. However, the lab was shut down weeks later due to infighting between the CEO and the researchers. I came across a lot of problems that weren't unique to me during this process. Firstly, conflict between the researchers and other stakeholders. An ill-defined ownership structure or misaligned incentives always leads to an implosion upon there actually being something of value. Secondly, a gap between, well, it seems to work in a couple people, and how do I fundraise a stage 1, 2, and 3 clinical trial? Thirdly, shelving of negative results, which wastes untold millions of dollars of research as other groups then try to replicate the same experiment that other people already knew didn't work. And then lastly, cancel culture, but applied towards new ideas. The first problem cannot be solved entirely, but it can definitely be ameliorated. We believe that wrapping up new experiments, new projects, new intellectual property in a hybrid entity, that is to say, an LLC DAO, will allow people to maintain intellectual property rights while also making it clear who owns how much of the project. The second problem of fundraising might be solved by a platform such as Molecule, which allows token issuance on a bonded curve to facilitate collaboration between stakeholders. The last two problems can be solved by knowledge markets that allow people to take positions for and against hypotheses. These knowledge markets would allow researchers to make a profit even if their experiment refutes the hypothesis, instead of our current system whereby scientists are incentivized to be shills. How, might you ask? Well, by taking a position on a knowledge market immediately before releasing their data to the public, a researcher should be able to make some profit regardless of whether the experiment was for or against the hypothesis. Of course, all of this hinges on a more robust web of trust, so that it is not worth potentially tarnishing one's reputation by publishing false data. We believe that these second-order knowledge markets will disrupt how science is done, and truth be told, we can't wait. Thank you for watching, and if you feel moved by this video, please don't hesitate to reach out.